What is going on, you guys? It is your boy Cyrus Obsidian here at Obsidian Games, here to bring you another episode of Local Diaries. So let us dive right on in. So for this locals, I will admit I'm a bit tired of losing, and we have been playing Vanquish Soul a lot, so we haven't been giving you guys what you might want to see. With our regional coming up this weekend, we definitely thought about running it back with Vanquish Soul. But again, seeing the kind of loss ratio that we've been having with Vanquish Soul lately, and just how we've been doing a lot better with rogue decks, which is what our channel should be and has been, or our channel has been founded upon rogue. You look back at our earlier videos, we played a lot of rogue. There were some meta in there, I will admit, between Mathmech, Rescue Ace at one point, but we did play a lot of meta until we got Malice, or a lot of rogue until we got to Malice. So we are going to go back to our origins. Unfortunately, not Pendulum. I wish. We're still working on that part. And we're going to run it back with a deck that I think has a lot of potential in this format. And it's a stun deck, which I am not overly fond playing of stun, but I kind of like the aesthetic of this deck. And it is Dinomorphia. So I have played Dinomorphia in the past on this channel. I have also played it in a Dino deck that I played, Dinomorphia. I loved it. It was kind of fun. It was a very interesting. This version is catered around stopping our opponent from playing. We are just going to go to the meta and just say no. So let me show you the deck profile that we are cooking with and possibly top locals. Alright, so I wasn't kidding about joining the dark side here. So to start off with our small monster lineup, we're playing 3 copies of Terizia and 3 copies of Diplos. It's pretty much all you need for Dinomorphia, nothing more, nothing less. You could play this deck very many different ways. I am just playing it what I feel is best for the deck. I haven't played this deck in a really long time, if I'm going to be honest. And so I'm kind of just catering it for this meta. But onto our trap lineup, which is most of this deck. We are playing 2 copies of Dinomorphia Domain, 3 copies of Dinomorphia Frenzy, 3 copies of Dinomorphia Intact, 2 copies of Dinomorphia Alert. Let's try and get this on screen. 1 copy of Brute and 1 copy of Sonic. So I think this is like the best lineup you can run for Dinomorphia. You want to see Frenzy and Domain, obviously. Frenzy is just the easiest way to get into your Rexterms. That way you can just prevent your opponent from playing the game. Domain requires more steps, but either way, you kind of get there. They're both the same in getting there. You can say there's no extra steps. Intact's really good if you open Terizia Intact. Because you go Terizia, set the Frenzy, set the Intact, pass. Intact will stop them from like ashing or Fuulosing if they dare to play Fuulos. But you're really more scared of the ash against the Frenzy and Domain. So you kind of help mitigate that. Alert is for helpful O2Ks, and then also playing on your opponent's turn, just kind of get traps back, so that way when it comes back to you, you have the ability to go Brute twice. You go Brute once to pop, and then Kentragina to copy Brute, which is really nice, and then Sonic as well if they play like any spell trap hate. It's just really good. And then the other traps that we do play, we do accompany this by playing 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. Judgment is the end-all be-all to say no to anything that does activate. We also play 3 copies of Solemn Strike, which could be a little controversial since we do pay half our life points a lot, so paying 1,500 exact can kind of hurt, but we have to play it smart. So it's there if we see it. If we don't see it, we don't see it, which is totally fine. But counter traps are just really great because the opponent can't respond. And anyways, when a monster effect would be, or a monster would be special summon, this kind of helps against the Vanquish Soul lineup, as well with like monster effect activations, things like that. So we kind of like dodge bolts there. We also play 3 copies of Iron Thunder. I think this card is definitely underrated for this deck. I think it is just so very good. Sure, it does blow up the column, so you kind of risk losing out on your own cards. So again, it's just one of those things that you got to play smart into, and I think we can definitely capitalize on it. We then copy over 2 copies of Ferret Flames. This is the card that's gonna win us games when we see it, because forcing our opponent to shuffle everything back is really great. We do play 1 copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance, because there are a lot of spells that are being played, whether it's Canine, Cristeron, Yummy, Draco Tail, they're all playing spells, so we flip this in the draw phase, and it's like, okay, have fun. And then the card that makes this deck super expensive, because if we weren't playing this card, this deck would be dumb cheap, but this card is just too good to pass up in Dominus Impulse. We do play 3 copies of it. So I like Dominus Impulse because A, we're always benefiting because we have traps that are going to our graveyard, whether it's the counters, the normals, we have traps. So we're always going to be able to destroy, and we're okay losing out on Light, Earth, and Wind. Because if you look at this extra deck, dark, fire, dark, we're chilling on that. The only card that it's going to controverse against is something that we do main as well. So if we go ahead and just close this out, and the pseudo spells, I like to call them, or searchers, we play 3 copies of Wannabe. So I think Wannabe is just really great to be during either our end phase, our opponent's end phase, as it activates in the end phase. So it does dodge the canines, because the canines are only able to activate during the main phase. So we do dodge that, which is going to be really great. So we just have to use our impulse Wannabes just very smartly when we see it. And like I said, searchers, we do play 3 copies of Pot of Duality and then 1 copy of Pot of Prosperity. This is just going to help us dig into our deck for resources, for whatever we might need. So there's that for you. This is a 40 card deck, and I am ready to shut my brain off and play it. I know I say that jokingly, but this deck is pretty fun. And then the extra deck should be pretty much self-explanatory. We're playing 3 copies of Dinomorphia Rexterm, 3 copies of Kentragina, and 2 copies of Stelpergia. We were originally going to play 3, 3, and 3, but I felt like we didn't need to play 3 Stelpergia, so we're playing it at 2. We'll see if I regret it later, but who knows. And then we do follow it up with 1 copy of Chaos Angel, because we can go into Kentragina, and any of the 4s, get us Chaos Angel. We play 1 copy of Raider's Knight, 2 Evolzars, 1 in Dolka, and 1 in Lagia. I think these are both really great if we're able to set them up. And we do play the Arc Rebellion XCs to go in line with the Raider's Knight, and then 2 copies of Typhon, because I think Typhon, this deck plays under Typhon really well, so we don't care about Typhon. I originally thought about putting SP Little Knight in its place to kind of just help out a little bit with dodging stuff, but I'm going to give this a try just to see how well the double Typhon works, especially with Prosperity. Because I mean, with Prosperity we can just dump these, keep everything else, But that is it for our extra deck. Onto the side. So the side is very, very interesting. We start off with 2 spells, Lightning Storm and Duster, just because there are decks that are still playing back rows. This hurts Vanquish Soul a lot. This can hurt Draco Tail, Yummy to some extent, and then any rogue decks that we do play against. This is going to be a good catch against all of them. And then we play some more traps, because why not? We're playing 3 copies of Solemn Warning, just another Dominus Impulse for the deck. I think it's really good. Playing 2 copies of Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon for any link-based decks or anything that we just want to flip face down. Playing 1 copy of Gozen Match, another hate card against Vanquish Soul. Play 3 copies of Dimensional Barrier. This one is going to really catch, again, any rogue. Draco Tail, Yummy to some extent. So we're kind of just clearing a lot of the new decks, and then 3 copies of Evenly Matched. You'll notice there is no Trap Trick, there is no Triple Tactics Thrust. So we're playing a lot of these traps at 3 as most as we can, minus the Daruma Karma Cannon. I think we can get away with 2. But that is it for our Dinomorphia deck. Let's go and morph it up. All right, so round one, we played against Raziel Mitsurugi. Definitely not a match I was ready for, but game one, we lose the die roll, so we're going second. We lose game one. Game two was a grind. My traps, counters, Iron Thunder came in so clutch. We took out his Murakumo and his Mitsurugi Ritual. It was great. Column placement with Iron Thunder is awesome. And then game three, he just bricked, so we were just chip, 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 and we took it there. Round two, we play against Yummy, a deck that I was prepared for, but again, we lose the dive roll. We go second, we can't play. Game one, game two, we're able to take control back and just keep tempo. Game three was just not enough. We had the impulse, we used impulse. I think we should have used it a little bit earlier, maybe even waited for Marshall Metal Cruncher to use impulse, but we waited too long. He was able to get Herald. We were hoping that we could see Duster or Evenly, something to kind of like force the Herald out and then just kind of collapse and it blew up from there. But Yummy surprise being able to bounce during the end phase, like moving towards end phase and then using surprise during the end phase just kind of sucks. So we take the L there. So we're 1-1. We still have 2 more rounds left to go. Honestly, Dinomorphia is performing a little bit better than I thought it would. I also like just being able to shut my brain off and just look traps because I am dead tired. So round 3, my opponent bailed, but thanks to a friend who just showed up late but still wanted some action, he decided to jump in and we dueled kind of a similar deck from what the opponent that Dick was playing. So we're gonna play another Yummy match, and it was insane. Game 1, we lose a die roll, so he goes first, he wins. Game 2, we're just able to just grind it out with Entergina and Rexterm, so yay. And then game 3, he bricked and we impulsed his one starter. So I was like, yes! And we just controlled the tempo. We tried Wannabean, and then I realized, oh wait, I can't. I activated impulse from hand. Can't activate light. So it's the one time where it came up, but we had enough traps to just really mitigate the board and just control it. So we're able to take it. So, I mean, free win, but we also did play it out. So we do feel like we did win. So we're 2-1 with 1 more round left. See what happens. Dinomorphia so far doing better than Anchorsoul. The last and final round we played against Draco Tail, and we just got swept. We could not keep up the traps. Just again, being able to play on the end phase and just using something to pop my stuff, remove it, bounce it, sucks. So we end the night 2-2, not too bad. Placed 9th out of 17 players. I know a couple dropped, so rounds standings don't look all that great, but not too bad, not too bad. Still trying to figure out what we're going to play for the regional on Saturday, which is problematic. But until the next one, I'll pass it over to you.